Oh, am I streaming? I think I am. And let's find out if YouTube thinks I'm streaming. So far it does not. It usually takes a couple minutes. Oh, I'm live streaming now. Hang on. Find out if... What's that?
Not there. It's one of the best berries in the world.
Mmm. Oh, man, bitter.
Yeah, a little bit.
Oh, man. Mmm. A berry from outside that turned out to be rather bitter.
Well,
That's what Miller Lite is for, washing down berries.
well, it's not like it can not be bitter when it's that healthy.
Right. Right. Well, bitter stuff's supposed to be good for you. So I'm a little disappointed tonight because we went outside to go for a walk around the neighborhood, and the rain started coming down. So we got rained out. I don't know how long I'm going to live stream tonight. Probably not very long. I'm just kind of checking in because I didn't really do anything today on the anime because I had to go to a town near here and attempt to load the digital print for my latest movie into the projector at the theater. And it was fraught with a little bit of stress because it was connected to the projector with a USB extension cable, and the projector wouldn't even see the digital print, right? And so I'm actually loading up. So this movie here, Healed by Grace 2. It's going to be out everywhere in September, and it features Sean Young, although this girl, Kennedy Martin, is really the star of the movie. And that's the sequel to Healed by Grace 1, which came out in, I don't know, probably 5-6 years ago or something. And so anyway, the sequel's coming out in September, and so I had to go and take care of that. And actually what happened was, after I thought, well, what if we take that stupid USB cable extension out of the chain and just plug the hard drive directly into the theater? Because these digital prints for movies have to be on a Linux formatted hard drive, and it's a bit of a pain to create one. So, but I know how to do it, and I did it right here, and I've had several movies that have played in theaters where I created the digital print, so I knew it should work. And once we took the extender cord out of the chain, wango bango, the projector saw it just fine, and it loaded up. So that's good. So that means I think it's the third week of September we're going to have the premiere. It's connected and reconnected. Oh, there it goes. Reconnection successful. And sorry about that. YouTube, it's a little flaky. So anyway, the other reason I didn't do anything on the anime today, this is basically what I did last time. My last session was doing this animation right here, which this is what I was talking about, Kyle. This little bit right here. It's actually kind of funny if you watch this. His foot hits the thing, and then the rock falls, and his eyes kind of follow it down, and then he looks up at his buddy, who definitely is not pleased. So anyway, did you chuckle? I think he chuckled a little bit. My son chuckled. So, hey, Animating Dino, how you doing, man? Yes, and actually, the other thing for full screen, someone else told me, is to hit the tilde key. So I've actually been using that quite a bit. So the other thing I did today was we had a radio jingle prospect that we had to create the jingle for. And so this next 30 seconds of audio is what I did mostly today. I did some of it yesterday too, but this was we'll see if the client buys it. I think he will. I think he's going to like it. So this is like a 30-second commercial where I did a voiceover in there, and then at the end you hear the musical jingle that I wrote. Blah blah blah. See if it works.
From everyday handyman projects to major renovations and improvements, the Springer Construction team brings you 40 years of experience, quality workmanship, and reasonable prices. Request a free quote at springerconstructioninc.com.
You're not alone when the dust is gone. Springer Construction makes your house a home.
Call 747-0909.
So what do you think? Is he gonna like that?
From everyday
Oh, wait, it wasn't
handyman
supposed to
projects
be.
to
Sorry about
major
that.
renovations.
So I was kind of going for a Motown. It's like, how can I combine like a country feel on the vocal? Because when I sang it, I had a little bit of that. This part,
When the dust is gone.
it's a little country. It's a little country, but the music is definitely more Motown with the snare on every beat and a tambourine in there. So that's pretty cool. So that's a lot of fun. So when I'm not doing anime, this is, you know, what I'm doing is I'm creating music and stuff. So anyway, that's what happened today. So where are we at on the anime? Well, I don't really know. I know what we need to do. Once Akari... Okay, I should mention that I changed this a little bit. I may put a cut of his partner, like right here, before it cuts to Akari. I think I might... well, actually what I did was, it cuts to Akari, and then I had a different shot of this guy. And for me, it was popping me out of the story. You press control with it. Okay, let me see. All right, Dino, thank you. I'm going to try that. So, control tilde. Okay, so that basically gets rid of the border. Yeah, and that's useful. The main thing for me is just the tilde key. Being able to switch, and I like that it's just like Blender, where wherever you put your mouse, that's what gets maximized. I mean, I like that a lot. It's quick, it's intuitive. Okay, so back to the story here. What I'm going to do, I had this other shot where it cut to essentially a different drawing of this guy. And for me, the time between when it cuts away from him and came back to him was short enough that it was snapping me right out of the anime. Even though it was a nice drawing, it was a little more detailed. I liked it, but continuity is more important. So I had to ruthlessly take that image and cut it out of the show. It's gone. So now what happens is when he looks up, it cuts to Akari, and we see her kind of, she's disturbed because she hears that noise, and then she rolls over, and then it cuts back to this same shot. And then I just hold that for a little bit, and then it cuts to his partner. So what I need to do now, today, is I need to do the shading on this guy, because he needs like... and this, I believe, if I'm remembering correctly, this was the first sequence that I went ahead and inked with Toonz as a Toonz vector level instead of a Toonz raster level. So, you know, on the face of it, that's really helpful in terms of future-proofing your work, because if you've got a standard pose for a character with a vector, you could scale it to any degree you want and reuse it elsewhere, which is kind of useful. I mean, you could really do that with a Toonz raster level as well, but one of the advantages of the Toonz vector levels is it's inherently, as you can see here, an infinite canvas. And I've said many times that one of the things I like about Blender for doing pencil tests is the fact that you got the infinite canvas. That's why I like my paint, actually. But to be fair, if I was doing a raster level in Opentoonz where I'm using the My Paint brushes, which are great, when you create the level, you can specify any size you want. So if I wanted to make it, you know, way bigger than the actual what the camera sees, so I effectively have an infinite canvas, you can do that just by specifying how large the level is, which is pretty important. You know, so you can pan the camera and do things like that. So anyway, so here we are. We've got this shot, and I like to crop that to the camera view. And like I said, I don't know how far I'm going to get tonight. Honestly, what I'm thinking as I'm watching this, I'm going to run this by Valerie, but my sense is that this, if I keep this part at all right here, if I keep this section at all, obviously, okay, let me just say this. This part doesn't look anywhere near as good as it should. Okay, even with the rough color correction, the background to me looks kind of stupid. The moonbeams are a little overdone. They're better on the regular render. But my point is that for me, I feel like I can do a better job. I mean, this close-up, as far as I'm concerned, there might be some shadows that we need to add in, a little bit more detail, but basically this looks professional. This is up to the standard I think we want, and this next sequence isn't. You know, that's all there is to it. So therefore, I'm going to either cut this, I'm going to either cut it, or I'm going to redraw it, or I'm going to integrate that motion into this sequence here. In other words, have her roll over in close-up. Because frankly, let's think about it. If she rolled over in this close-up shot, which I think would be probably better continuity in the story, then when it gets down to here, I mean, okay, we get it, right? We understand that she has rolled over, so it's not like we really need for anything else to spell that out to the audience, right? So my thinking is that this shot is good, this shot is weak. So hate to throw work away, but actually with anime production, it's something I'm getting comfortable with. You got to be willing to ruthlessly cut things out and change your path if you know, if the result is going to be better. So having said that, that leaves us here for the moment, and the only thing I'm going to do tonight, and I don't know how far I'll get, is going into this guy and adding some highlights and really not so much highlights as shadows. I mean, if we think about it here, the moonlight is coming in from this direction, right? It's coming in this way on him. So insofar as shadows are concerned, and by the way, okay, you can't see it here, but if we jump up out of here, there is some overall color correction on the scene. That this is going to be a little darker, and of course it's tinted blue. So inside the sub X sheets, for the most part, I'm dealing with what I call local color. What's the actual color of this guy's skin? I don't care about tinting it, you know, or doing the color correction to show that it's night and that sort of thing. All I really am interested in is using the basic colors in the palette, and then we'll do the tinting and all that as a post-production process. So having said that, now we got to deal with the shadows. So I think I'll uncrop this just so I don't lose track of the whole big picture. And then up here, let's see, we've got 1, 2, 3, I think there's like 4 poses. Yes, there's only like 4 keyframes, and then this gets manipulated with, that's all just plastic tool. So one thing to be aware of is that I am not, because this has been hit with a plastic tool, I probably can't hit it with a brush. See how it turns like that? So the only way I can manipulate this shot is to go into the picture itself, and I can edit it there and add the shadowing and stuff. So if we're going to do it that way, let's do it that way. So we'll come up here and let's just go to this shot. What do we need? We've got a flesh shadow. Wait, no we don't. Which one is this? Okay, my eyes are not the greatest. I'm thinking, is this color here this, or is it this? I think it's this, but all I got to do is hit the K key and click on it. Yep, and it went to that. So that means this is my shadow color, so that's cool. Since we're here, let's try using auto paint for lines just to see if it works. Because I was having some weird stuff go on the other day with auto paint for lines on vector levels. So I'm going to click that, auto paint for lines, and then go back to my brush, and let's just give this a crack. Okay, I'm going to put it there, and now let's just try it right away before we get too far and see if it's going to, yeah, see, it doesn't work. So is that because it's not connecting? It sure looks like it's connected there. Maybe not here. Alright, let's just move that a little bit. I mean, that's kind of stupid to have to do that, but let's give it a crack. Okay, so there you go. It did respect the line, but it doesn't erase the guide. So that's that's something I've noticed about vector levels. So that's pretty easy to deal with. All we have to do is, oops, I didn't mean to. Sorry guys, I didn't mean to. I got to learn to lock my. I really need to learn to lock my little sub windows here, because now I can't get that to. Oh wait, maybe that was it right there. Yep. Nope. I don't know if that's going to work. That's going to put a column. There we go. Right there is it. Okay, so what we need to do is draw that shadow with this color, so it's effectively going to be, you know, looking the way we want it to. Now there is technically, you could argue, there's a little hiccup right there. No, I don't care about that hiccup. Okay, so now, what are you laughing about back there? Kyle's laughing about something. So now I'm just going to go ahead and put some little guidelines in here. And okay, that wasn't supposed to happen. Yeah, and this happened to me the other day too. This is where I do find myself getting kind of frustrated with the Toonz vector levels. Okay, so I made a mistake, or well, I should say Toonz made a mistake in how it interpreted what I was trying to do. And then when I hit undo, it will not undo that. It'll keep undoing the stuff that I drew, and I'm kind of hosed. You can see, I don't need to explain it any further. So that means that what I'm going to have to do is do it this way. Let's go ahead and put this in here. I'm just going to follow these guidelines. Probably draw a line there. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this color to redraw his eye. I mean, I shouldn't have to do this, but there it is. Okay, and then go like that, and then like that. So, you know, is it the end of the world? Not really. It's not the end of the world, but it is a little annoying. Okay, so I will say this. The problem that I'm going to have is I actually am probably going to want to literally copy this frame into this frame and then line them up, just because who wants to try to duplicate all those shadows again, right? So this is probably going to foul up. Nope, it didn't, so that's good. Ah, it did. Okay, so I'm going to hit undo twice. So like I said, I'm kind of learning what the idiosyncrasies are with the Toonz vector levels. For the most part, I can deal with it, you know, but it's definitely got some quirks. Okay, so let's just go back here, and the light would be coming from the top, so I think that probably looks okay. What do you think? Should we put something under here? I'm thinking we should. Yep, let's do that. Okay, that's cool. That looks pretty good. I'm kind of leaning against messing with his ear, but I guess it wouldn't hurt to at least have a little something there. So what I should be able to do here, I think, is let's just delete this key and put the other one in. And I think it's going to, yeah, it's just going to continue it. So yeah, unfortunately that's not quite what I was after. So now what I want to do is use the animate tool to get it back to what I had before. So I just basically went from that to that, but I don't want to redo the shadows because that's a pain. So therefore I'm going to hit the A key here, and we're just doing a let's set the center in the intelligent place right here at the base of his neck, and then we'll do a rotation here, and then right here. Actually what we need to do is insert a key so that there's no interpolation. I still want it to look like an anime type of animation, so I want it to be a sudden change. So I'm going to actually move that there and also move it so that, yeah, that looks pretty good. Okay, cool. And that all goes by fairly quick as well. So there is an issue there. I think that whole thing should be scaled probably. But we'll come back to that. Okay, so there we got this. I'd rather work on this one here, I think. I can see better what I'm doing. Okay, so let's just toggle between the drawings so I can remember what I did. So I definitely want the shadow under this lip here. The nose is pretty well where it needs to be. So basically the lip, the dome of his head, and his ear. That's what we need to deal with. So let's deal with it. Alright, so we got this. We got this. And we've got something like this. So I'm just going to go ahead and fill these. Whoops, that's going to be a problem. That's going to be a problem. Let's change our maximum gap to as high as we can go. Yep, that solved it for us. That one, not so much. So let's use the tape tool and see if that does the trick. Nope, it will not. So I need to zoom in and see what's going on. Alright, let's go B. Kyle, are you looking at memes or what are you doing, man? Oh, I see what the problem is right here. We got to close that. Alright, and then boom. Okay. Now we can just at least look at our continuity. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the... Yep, I'm going to use the period and the comma key to just toggle between these keyframes. Something's missing. Something's missing here. I actually think there's a little something I want, like right here. And I'm going to hit the C key so I can actually just manipulate that. Now this is where the vectors are kind of nice, because you can go in and manipulate them that way. That looks better. I like that. Alright, zap out. Hi, you download new... no. Zarko, I tell you what, I don't remember who it was that made a comment about that yesterday, but... No, I mean, I've used the June build, and... you know, here I am on a i7 12-core machine with a pretty darn good NVIDIA graphics card, and Blender 2.8 will not even run. It literally shows me the splash screen and then explodes, and it won't run at all. Now I have a Gen 8 i7 machine over there that's an 8-core, and it will run on that machine. But so far, it would take too long to explain why. But as somebody who's really trying to just do the work, I am not nearly as enamored of Grease Pencil 2.8 as most people. Not even close. It's cool, and I'm looking forward to trying it when it's stable. But basically, I've landed on Opentoonz and it's working, so I'm not gonna. I'm gonna kind of. That's what I'm gonna be doing for a while. So now here, obviously, because of the movement, the lighting situation isn't quite as critical, but I definitely think we should have some stuff in there. So I'm going to go ahead and let's do it like this. Let's go. Yeah, Blender 2.8. I am looking forward to it. I think it's great. But I had another video where I kind of ranted about it because a lot of the things that are being touted as being the really exciting things about Blender 2.8 were exactly the same things everybody said about 2.5 8 years ago. And it took a while, man. It took a while for 2.5 to be, you know, ready for prime time, so to speak. But the most significant thing for me was that everybody talked about how much more efficient for workflow the interface was going to be, and it just simply wasn't. It was different, and it was better in some ways, and worse in others. You know, for me, it was just different. It wasn't better. I thought Blender 2.49 was fine. I used it quite a lot, actually. So, but that's just me. You know, that's just one guy's opinion. And I hope that 2.8 turns out to be like awesome, but at this point I can't imagine. Whoops. I have a hard time believing I'll jump ship from Opentoonz at this point, just because the more real work I get done with Opentoonz, the more I'm like, you know, this is pretty well thought out program, even though it's got some definite quirks. Okay, so what I need to do now is take this out and see what's on the other layer. Okay. I don't know why this isn't filling properly. But hey, thanks for asking, you know. I'm gonna do a freehand and see if it helps. No, that will not fill. Wonder why. So again, it seems to me that the Toonz raster, there's the problem right there. The Toonz raster levels are not as persnickety. Okay, so now I should be able to go ahead and fill it. So, I mean, you know, you can complain. I mean, why would I complain about that? The reason I would complain is because Opentoonz has a snap feature. I saw the little green dot, and it did snap. So if it's going to tell me, then you can go delete. Yep. Grab the node, draw a box, hit delete. Okay. So I'm just doing that so I can sort of smooth that out. So that's cool. We're getting there. Yeah, I mean, honestly, if I was... Yeah, I probably did. OBS disconnects every once in a while, so I don't even know if you can see this right now. But yeah, OBS just it seems like it's about every 10 or 15 minutes, it'll just kind of blank out and reconnect. The good thing is it does reconnect all by itself. I don't have to do anything. So let's see here. So now we got a problem with this arm. I'm not sure what the heck I was thinking here. That's funny. Okay, Dave. How dumb can you be? Okay, so what am I missing here? He goes up like that. Something is scaled here. Something is scaled, or else something got changed. There's no other levels that use these drawings. That's pretty weird. So I'm going to say there's some sort of damage here that got done with the plastic tool. That's the only thing I can figure. Now, I know that looks really stupid right there, the way his shoulder moves. I totally kludged that. But you got to realize that when it's properly masked, you don't see that weirdness. So, I mean, all that matters is what does it look like, right? So, okay, so I better turn that on just so I'm seeing accurately what's going on. So this is the problem. I'm going to just edit this. I'm going to cheat. I'm going to go like this. Okay. Okay. I have no idea what happened here. It's bizarre. Let's look at the key. Let me turn the plastic tool on here, and I'm going to actually go here. So where are my bones? If I hit the X key, there they are. Okay, okay. Huh. That's weird. It's like the animation got lost. And this is just yeah, I'm not quite sure what to make of that. It's like I need to regenerate the it's like I need to regenerate the plastic tool level. But see, that pose now looks correct. What is this one doing? So yeah, what appears to me is that the animation is lost. So I'm going to grab that. Okay, so we need to be in animate mode, not... Okay, okay. That is just wacky, though. What the heck? Why is the drawing so screwy? Very weird. Yeah, that's a weird one. That's a weird one. But you know what? There's worse things. I'll tell you what I'm going to do. We don't need the wrap in there. The wrap is unnecessary. So actually, as far as I'm concerned, this drawing is unnecessary. So I'm going to be bold here, and I'm just going to delete it. Hit that. Control X. Okay, so now this is obviously screwed up. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select all these frames. Control X. Drag this down to here. Now let's see if this is even functional. This is the drawing that we're dealing with. It's number 34. And if we're going to do this, we have to redo these keyframes. So what I'm going to do is turn this on. Look at this whole range here. Okay, that's what we want. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to regenerate the mesh. Let's see if we can do that. Is that doable? It looks like it is. Okay, so that's good. So we're going to regenerate our mesh, and I don't want it to be particularly high resolution. Okay, so there we go. We've regenerated our mesh. Now we're going to go in and we're going to build our skeleton. Why is that? Okay, I'm going to kind of go with it even though this looks like it's not going to function properly. Now let's go to animate and see what happens. Okay, it's actually not too far off of what I was hoping for. So I think we need to stretch this down to here. And let's go to this keyframe. And I always seem to want to turn this off, keep distance. Plus in this case, I'm really manipulating the okay. This is wacky. This is the first thing I've come across in a while. Yeah, well, what Zarko, what it looks like happened was there were some animation keyframes here from the other day, and somehow something got messed up. So I think the solution is, let's do this. Let's get rid of this column. Okay, let's just get rid of it. And now let's start over. If we're going to do the plastic tool, we should start here. Okay, so if I hit the X key, and by the way, let's save our work just so we're not going to lose something. So I'm going to hit the X key, and I'm going to hit Create Mesh. Now that's what we should be seeing. So let's go with that. Keep the old and overwrite the process frames. BA Mesh. Let me check something here. I'm a little paranoid that Opentoonz is going to destroy something somewhere else by, I'm just going to choose a different path. One mesh. So the only reason that should be like that is because of the animate tool. That's what it is. It's because this has been altered by the animate tool. Okay. That might be okay. That's probably okay. Let's just see if we can make this work. So I've got to think in terms of an offset here, which is generally not something you want to do, but the problem is, I think the problem is that, yeah, I'm on late, dude. OBS was not with two computers, but I used my other computer as a monitor to read the chat. Oh, yeah, that wouldn't really help with this. Yeah, I should look into it. Like I was telling Zarko, you know, it's like, it just, about every 10 or 15 minutes, OBS sort of disconnects and then reconnects. So anyway, so the good news is, this goes to this pose here, and what we want to do is, let's build a skeleton, like so. We're going to have one for his head, and we'll call that one a, oops, that's not what we want to do. Always want to grab the root again. Okay, I'm going to put this here as a protector, and then I'm going to actually go like this. Okay, I don't know if this is going to work because, like I said, we're dealing with a mesh. Yeah, it's actually, that looks pretty good. Okay, so if we go ahead and put a keyframe here. And I think what we want to do too is go in and paint rigid. And I want to make this really big. And I do not want his head to be able to be distorted. I want to keep his head really rigid. Alright, so that's cool. Now we can go to the animate mode, and we should be able to adjust that a little bit, adjust that a little bit, and then this is the part that we'll see if it works. I know this looks a little crazy, but you got to realize I'm going to fix the drawing too. I'm going to make some adjustments to the drawing so that it's not quite as stupid as it is right now. Okay, actually that's what I want, and then I want something like that. Okay. Well, the point is, here's how we're going to fix it. Okay, so I'm actually going to save my work so that I can look at this. Okay, that's all fine. So what the problem is this drawing. We need to go into this drawing. And believe it or not, what we need to do is hit the C key here. Okay, why won't it let me hit the C key? Ah, there we go. Okay, and so what I'm going to do is I'm going to way extend his arm out. I know this looks completely stupid and doesn't seem to make sense, but I think it's going to work. And all I care about right now is whether it works. Okay, so that's what we see, but this is what the camera sees. Okay, why is that? Yeah, this is a little bit of a poser. Let's get ridiculous with it and see what happens if we really make this like ridiculous. How does it do here? Actually, that's not too bad. Why is it crunching like that? How long will this be? Oh, dude, this is the first episode, 24-minute episode of, you know, it's an epic. I mean, it's a season. The whole story is kind of amazing, actually. I mean, as a guy that's written a lot of screenplays, you know, at least 10, I'm really, really impressed with the job that Valerie's done on writing this thing. So yeah, we're planning to, what we want to do, frankly, Oscar, is I'm doing what I'm doing here, and I expect this is going to come together. It's going to keep getting better. I'm learning as I go. We're building a bit of a community here. When we actually have an episode, you know, we've recorded the soundtrack, put a score on it, do everything you need to do to make it look right. I hope that we can build an audience, probably for like a 5-minute segment or something, here on Opentoonz, and maybe here on YouTube, I'm sorry. Sort of maybe build a little community around it, but I think that if we can demonstrate that this show will draw an audience, then there's no reason we couldn't go and pitch it to, you know, Netflix or some other distributor and actually, you know, get a deal that would allow us to move forward. And frankly, I hate to say this, but the likelihood is that in the long run, we would probably focus on writing it and storyboarding it and mapping out the shows, and then I would think we would probably farm out the actual ink and paint to somewhere else. You know, where that would be, I don't know. I mean, I know shows like Avatar: The Last Airbender, they had their animation done in Korea, so you know, maybe Korea is a candidate. I don't know. So we're making this up as we go along, but that's the tentative plan. And you know, I mean, I've got enough experience dealing with distributors and the whole entertainment space that I think I know what we can do, but it's going to take some time. So yeah, this is basically the problem with this is it's getting distorted and whacked. So I think right now I'm beating my head against the wall trying to make this look good. This looks stupid, and I knew that was a risk when I decided to give him a big cape. but I thought it might work. Sounds so. Yeah, I didn't know that about Rick and Morty, but I'm sure you're right. I don't actually happen to like. I've watched that show, and I actually don't think the writing on that show is that great. I don't quite get what the attraction is, but on the other hand, I have unusual taste too, and I don't say that I'm right, you know, because a lot of people like it, you know. So what I think I'm going to do here, folks, is I'm just going to draw over this. Okay, this is how I'm going to fix this. I'm going to actually create a Toonz or a regular raster level, and I'm going to fix this in the most kludgy way, just like this. I'm going to hit the B key and go like that, and then I'm going to grab my this brush so that I can go like this, and then I'm just going to make it black. I'm just going to go like this. This is what we're going to do. We're going to fix this in the most efficient manner possible. Okay? Because this goes by pretty fast too, you got to keep in mind. So we're going to take this, drag it down to here, go to this keyframe, same thing. This is one of the things I really like about Opentoonz is, well, okay, one of the things I don't like is the way it keeps switching back to the default brush. But I like the fact that you can just go in and fix things pretty readily, actually. So why not just do it this way, right? And now same thing here. So we'll go like that, and then I'll just take my, I gotta double click here on the edge of that so that I can then go back here and just grab the correct color, and the color I want is this. So I'm going to go R to sample that, and then I can zoom out. Zarko, yes. I have used Toon Boom. I got no love for Toon Boom. I mean, Toon Boom, Flash, if you really want to be like totally married to vectors, even when sketching, then Toon Boom's great and Flash is great. I have Flash on this machine. I don't really use it much. So yeah, short answer is I'm not a big fan of Toon Boom. As far as the other software that's out there that isn't necessarily open source software that I have, you know, anything good to say about, I think TV Paint looks pretty good, I must say. It's clearly a good quality program. Okay, I gotta zoom out so I can get my bearings here. Yeah, that's too much. Sorry, folks. I'm getting a little hurried and sloppy here. Okay, so now we gotta. You guys can see there. I've got the auto save back on, turned on, I should say. Okay, so we got this shot, this shot. Okay, let's get that black, and let's go here and just have a little bit of that going on. And then here, this one's all screwy, so let's go ahead and make the brush larger so we can just really zap it in there pretty quick. Okay, and now go here, and what I want to do is toggle between my drawings. That, you know, this is not anatomically, I'm definitely stretching a bit here anatomically, but at the same time this goes by really fast. I mean, this is all in twos, and so oops, don't want the eraser, I want the brush. So complicated. Yeah, I don't really find it I don't find it complicated. It's just I just don't like it. I mean, when I've used it, it's like I don't know, some software some software just resonates with you, you know, you just like using it, and some you don't. And Toon Boom didn't grab me. Now there's a lot of people out there who love it. I actually, okay, I'll tell you guys a story. There is a YouTube channel, it's called AMB Animation Academy. Okay, and I'm not sure where this guy's from, but So this guy's got this channel, and it's pretty good. I mean, it's all about training traditional, like, Disney-style animation, right? So one day I'm tuning in because he's live streaming, and he was doing a live stream where he was talking about this animation that he did, where he composited himself doing some martial arts battling this cartoon rabbit that he added into the cartoon. Well, the timing of the animation was actually not that great. It was actually quite choppy, and in my view, I didn't really consider it a successful animation. So, during the live stream, I posted this comment. I said, well, I just mentioned, I tried to do it as nicely as possible, but I mentioned, you know, your rabbit animation is kind of a little choppy, actually. And the guy just unloaded on me. He's like, he's talking about how, yeah, there's people here who come to the YouTube. Once you start thinking that way, you're... Well, put it this way. The guy that has that YouTube channel, there's a reason he is not a professional animator, but rather he's just doing the YouTube thing. Okay? And I can say that because there's a reason I am not a professional animator. Because I'm not. I'm just a guy who's just doing this because I want to do it, you know? And if it sucks, it sucks. But I'm going to try to make it not suck, you know? That's my... So right here we got a little bit of a... What'd you say, Val?
That's what I'm here for.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Okay, so now we have to go... I see what's going on here. We've got these in-betweens. Okay. This interpolation needs to be constant. So anyway, I just... When that happened, I don't know if you guys could hear the story if we got disconnected, but for me it's just like... I don't know. I just don't want to be that ego guy. Am I that ego guy, Valerie?
Can be.
I can be, can I?
That's why I'm here.
I know. You keep me honest, baby. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to put in a keyframe. I'm not going to try to fix this with the drawings in between. What I'm going to do is add these keyframes. And I'm going to go Control C, Control V, Control C, Control V, and then it goes to this one. Okay, so the reason I did that is I want the plastic tool to be on 2s. So I could go into the function editor and edit these values, but why? It's faster to just add extra keyframes. Normally it would be like, normally the keyframes wouldn't be 2 apart, right? There'd be a key here and then maybe a key down here. And then if I take this key and copy it to 1 frame before this one, then that is what you Blender people would consider constant interpolation. So it's going to jump from one keyframe to the next as opposed to interpolating smoothly. So I think we're in good shape here. I think I got to what I wanted to get to by just patching this up. So I gotta go to the top here. Let's go Control Home and let's go Control N and see if we got a marker. We don't, so I'm going to put a marker there. And then let's see what we have. Okay, so come on, let's get going. Is basically what's going on here. Okay, so we got a little bit of a hiccup right there. There's one hiccup. We'll fix it. Right there. We're in good shape. So all I got to do is take this brush and brush over the... Okay. Why is it switching to super small? Okay. Just paint over that to fill that in. Fine. I think we're in good shape. Okay. So yeah, I've been live streaming almost an hour, which is kind of hard to believe. But so I'm going to wrap it up. I really wasn't planning to live stream tonight, but I've been working on that jingle today. In fact, you guys are... I got to play this for you guys. This is what I did today. This is why I wasn't live streaming earlier today, is I did this. Okay, so are you guys ready? Here's what I did today.
From everyday handyman projects to major renovations and improvements, the Springer Construction team brings you 40 years of experience, quality workmanship, and reasonable prices.
Here it comes.
Request a free quote at SpringerConstructionINC.com.
You're not alone when the dust is gone. Springer Construction makes your house a home.
Call 747-0909.
So yeah, so recorded that jingle today and then mixed it, sent it to the client. So I, that's kind of helping pay the bills. So that's one of the things I do. So anyway, I got to add a background to this, but I'm not going to do that tonight. I'm going to call it good for tonight. And the likelihood, I'm not sure what I've got going tomorrow, but the likelihood is I'll be live streaming during the day at some point and just plugging away on this. So if we want to see what we have so far, I don't know if you guys really care, but I guess we could go to the end here and see how it's coming together. Let's just put this on frame 1000 and control home. Let's see. So this is where we're at. It is coming together. He feels bad. His buddy says, "Come on, let's get going." So this needs some work. But it turns out she knows what's happening. So anyway, I actually was not shutting down. I was not shutting down. I was actually still talking, and OBS decided to shut me up. So anyway, for real, I will check out and catch you guys later.